Okay, so we're going to hop right into getting started with the deal reg for Meraki. Right now, we're looking at the main screen of when you log into CCW, the Cisco Commerce Workspace. So to get here, you would go to cisco.com/go/commerce workspace. And in the top right corner over here, we'd be able to log in. I'm already logged in, so you're not going to see that option. But as you can see, this is the home page. We have our catalog here to look at different SKUs. We have our option here to create an estimate or to create a config if we needed an item configured. We have our deals and quotes tab, so we could create a deal or we could create a quick quote if we needed to get a DSA. Our orders tab, I don't believe you guys are going to be able to see that, but if you had a shared order, you'd definitely be able to see that here. CSCC, so if we're going to have SmartNet, although with Meraki, that's not something we're going to see. Our subscriptions, and then our software for if we had Cisco One or Smart Account information that we needed. So we're going to focus for this module on the Deals and Quotes tab, and we're going to go to Create a Deal. So my view is a little different. You're not going to see this page normally because your information is already going to be put in there, but because I'm distribution, I have to put the reseller's information in there, which I have right here of the person that we're working with, Tyler Thompson. And of course, CCW likes to load a lot, so we're going to let it load. We're going to paste our information in to get the reseller contact. And now this is going to be linked to that CDW rep, but again, it's already going to be linked to you because you're going to be logged in. We're going to put a name for our deal. So this is going to be a test Meraki OIP. Meraki OIP. Here we would select our channel account manager, so whoever you work with Cisco normally for CDW exclusively. You have all these different options here. It looks like CDW has many cams. I'm going to put our tech data guy though, just for the use of this example. So we need to put an end customer. So this is the same thing that you're going to see on your side from now on. You could search for it by you got to do the company name, and then it's more of a general search. It's more complicated than the way I normally go about it, but for this example, we'll put tech data. And we're in Florida. And then this asterisk here is suggested, but it's not mandatory, so we'll put Clearwater. And it already comes up. And you can see we have all these different options for our customer. Now, if we didn't get any results from this, we would be able to create a customer. And you could see we could put the address here and fill it out, and then we'd create the customer. But my way of normally going about it is I go to the faster search, and then I could just put tech data, and then with the address info I already know, 5350. And as you can see, I get all the different options, but not mine right now. Tech, data, drive. And then I could just select it that way. And the same thing, if I didn't have any results, I'd be able to create the customer. Now I need to have my end user's contact info. So for our purposes for this, I'll put my information in here. Solutions associate. And then we need their phone number information. This is just so that in case the account manager needs to reach out to them, or so that they also have it on record. They don't normally reach out to them though. Yeah. Again, this is just, I'm putting generic information in because it's an example. Looking at techdata.com. Techdata.com. And now we're going to create the deal. So as you can see, now we have a deal ID. So if we ever erred out of here, or if we ever need to look up this deal again, we could look it up by this deal ID here. And then an email is going to be sent to you that has the deal ID information in it. So we're going to go through this. We're going to go through the places with the asterisks, the fields with the asterisks, because those are required to submit the deal. So for the intended use, so what are we going to do with this deal? Well, for this particular deal, we're looking at reselling, but if you were going to, say, use an NFR, so not for resale deal, you would be able to choose internal business use. And then for the deal category, this isn't going to be managed service, it's going to be for resale. So we're going to select other resale/infrastructure. Now the next required field is going to be the list price. Now the interesting thing about the list price is, well, you guys only have global price list US availability, but sometimes it populates with multiples, and one of them is going to say global price list US dollars. That's not the right one. It's got to be US availability, because that's how we order off the GPL. And that's going to populate all your incentives on the next page. Now we need to select an expected closing date. So when do we think this deal is going to close? When do we think they're going to order? Normally when I create deals, I push it a month out, but if you know like when it's going to close, definitely put it there. This is probably the second most important part on this page, is the expected list amount. So this is our expected list price. So how much MSRP we think that this deal is going to be worth. Now for Meraki, it's $5K. For other Cisco products, it's a $10K list price minimum. So for this one, we're going to go with $5K because it's our general example. And then we're going to save and continue. Are there any questions so far?
No, not so far.
Okay, so now we're looking at the incentives tab. Tyler, are you seeing my screen, by the way?
I am, yeah. This is
okay.
For, you're talking different programs, right?
Yep. I was just making sure. Okay, so now we're looking at the incentives tab, and we can see we have our OIPs up here, which we're going to select for this Meraki deal. But I'm also going to bring some notification down to the teaming incentives. So if you were teaming up with a Cisco rep on a deal, or if you're doing E-rates, this is where E-rates over here. Actually, the Meraki one's right here, but for other E-rate opportunities, it would be here. And then also, if you were going to do an NFR, you would do this one, the NFR certified partners. But we already selected our net new business OIP. That's the one specifically for, well, it's the broad general OIP actually, but we know we're not doing Nexus. We know we're not doing UCS, and we're going to save and continue. So now we're at the questionnaire, probably the second most important part of this entire deal reg process. And we need to answer these all a specific way, otherwise Cisco kicks back on the deal and we won't have our deal reg, we won't have our discounted pricing. So first question is this an RFP, an RFQ, or an RFI? So a request for pricing, request for quoting, request for information. So this is more, I know you guys call it an RFP or an RFQ if you guys are asking for a quote from Tech Data, but what Cisco is specifically asking here is this a formal bid that's going to be on their books, something that they know about or is in their pipeline already? The answer has to be no, otherwise we won't qualify for an OIP. That would be a TIP, a teaming incentive program.
Gotcha.
Have we completed an in-person phone meeting with the customer? The answer here is, the answer here is yes, because we've already, for the example, we have. Now if we selected no, we would still be able to continue through. So this one's not as important, but definitely they want to know at least, is this something that the end user already knows about, or are we just registering the deal? They want a detailed description now about the equipment. So what are we doing with the equipment? What is it going to be used for? What is the equipment exactly that we're looking at? So for this one, for our example purposes, I'm just going to say that Tech Data is looking for a wireless solution that's cloud managed. If I could spell right, that would be nice. Affordable Meraki solution is advised. So, I mean, this isn't as specific because it is an example, and definitely the more information that we put there, the better it is, the more likely we are to get approval. But for all intents and purposes of this example, we're just going to fill it in like that. Have we created a network design for this opportunity? Again, this isn't one that's, it's like number 2, so it's not as important as we do have a network design, so something that our engineers created to fit for this particular end user's location. But I'm going to pick yes that we have, because I know what I'm going to put in here for this example. Now they're asking for the sites associated with the opportunity. So which end user locations are these appliances going to be applied and deployed at? So for this one, it's going to be Tech Data, 5350 Tech Data Drive, and I put the entire address here. This is usually it's the same information as we put in the when we selected the end customer before, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes they're going to multiple locations. And yeah, so now we have our end user site listed. Now we got to put the Cisco AM that we've been working with. So if you've been working with a Meraki rep or you've had contact with one of them, this is the area where we would put that information. It just makes it easier for when they go to route the deal for approval to that Meraki rep. I don't have a Meraki rep for Tech Data right now, so I'm gonna put a just a general name for who I think could be our Meraki rep. I don't know who our Meraki rep is. Please provide a Cisco.com user ID and name for someone within your company. So right here now they're asking for your information. So I'm going to put you down, Tyler, and then whatever your CCO ID is, that's what we would put here. Because I don't know your CCO ID off the top of my head, I'm just going to put this for now. The engineer that you were working with who created the network design, or who helped create the bill of materials, we would put that here. So we'll put my name for this one, and then my CCO ID, Meraki 001. And this is just so that Cisco's got an idea on the process that was put into place for this deal. Was this created through a Cisco campaign or Cisco funded network assessment? The answer is no. So, I mean, Cisco didn't have any campaigns or anything, or any programs that created this opportunity. And then the last question is, if the opportunity being registered involves a K through 12 or public library customer, I have not received any inside information about this customer's procurement that would jeopardize a fair and competitive open bidding process. So do you have any unfair information about this opportunity before creating this OIP? If it was a bid, which is not a bid. So we're going to agree. The answer to this one should correlate to the answer on this one. And now we have to put in our expected technology mix, because that's the last thing that Cisco requires. So right here we have cloud and virtualization. You can see we have collaboration, Nexus, UCS is in there, but the one that we're going to focus on for this is going to be Meraki, because our opportunity is going to be 100% Meraki. But if we had some UCS or Catalyst in there, we'd be able to add a new line and then add that into our technology mix as well. And now we're going to save and continue. So now this is a page, you're actually going to see this page too, where you have to select the buy method. And for this one, in order for the deal to come through Tech Data, Tech Data has to be selected as the buy method. And then that way it helps with ordering later on. It doesn't hold up your order any. Now we're on the quote tab. So see, we moved from the deal tab over to the quote tab, and we're able to start uploading our bill of materials. So for this deal, we're going to do an MR18. See, 649, we're going to do 3 MR18s. And then we're going to do the licenses for the MR18s. We're going to do 3-year licenses. And then let's say our customer, Tech Data, also wants an MX series. They want a firewall. So we're going to do an MX64. We're going to do 4 of those. And then we're going to do the licenses for those as well. 64. And 4 of those licenses. So now we have our bill of materials here. This is all that's going to be on the deal, is these quantities for these parts. But, I mean, if we didn't have, if we had a config that maybe our engineers created, or maybe we created ourselves over here in the estimate tool, in which I'll go into later, we would hit import a saved configuration. If it was an actual config, we would select the next generation configuration tool, which is going to be going away. So kind of keep that in mind, but I'll just go here just so you can kind of see what it looks like. We would put the config set ID, so the config ID that was created, and then we would search for it there. And then we'd hit the search button and it would populate. Now we don't have a config for this one, so I'm just going to hit cancel. And then also if we had an estimate, which is a little easier to search by, we would just search for the estimate ID. And we'd be able to find it that way. So now we have our bill of materials. We're going to save and continue. This next page that we're on isn't this, you're not going to see this page, but we're just going to click through here. It just kind of shows pricing, just so that I could kind of see, okay, this is all that's on the deal. This is where it's going. We're going to save and continue. And now we're on the review tab. So right here we could see, okay, this is what's on the deal. This is the list price. We could see who's involved in the deal. We have our CAM information here, our partner contact, so who you are. Here you're going to see your information in here, and then our end customer's information. Let's see, what else? We can also see if we had trade-in items. We could see that, and I could actually go back and show you how to do that. And we should be able to see our parts. Oh, items and discounts, yeah. And then we could see our parts as well. And then if we wanted to add a comment, like for further information about the deal, we could put that there as well. So like if this is a deal that we had to recreate through the, from originally it was in the legacy portal, and now we're putting it in CCW so we could order through Tech Data. If we could put that information there, that kind of helps speed the approval process along. The only other thing I kind of want to bring up here is we have our try and buy tab. So if we wanted to request a try and buy, not that we can for Meraki, but if you had other Cisco opportunities that you wanted to do a try and buy for, or if Meraki eventually does get onto that try and buy eligibility, we'd be able to request it here. And there's like a little questionnaire that we'd fill out. We'd just select, hey, this is a try and buy, and then what the program is, if there is another program, and then we'd save it. And now we're going to submit it for approval. Now this one's not going to be approved because obviously it's a test opportunity, but now we're at a it's confirmation page saying this deal has been submitted, this is the deal ID, this is when it was created, this is who created it. We can see the kind of opportunity it is, and now we should also have an email that was sent to us that says this deal has been submitted for approval, and now it's going to go through the approval process.